전문 투자가
What was the most amount of money that you ever made in a single year?
$20 million.
$20 million. Have you ever been broke before?
Yes.
Yeah?
Multiple times. I've been rich and I've been poor at least a couple of times. Prefer rich, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a lot more fun.
Yeah. But you hear the saying, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Somebody's stuck in that cycle of poverty. What are some actionable steps that they can take to break that cycle?
You stay away from toxic people. Think big, but you always got to be learning. Otherwise, you can be on a treadmill doing the same thing for the next 20 years.
What's the most common mistake that you see business owners make that prevents them from scaling and having that longevity?
Running out of cash is obviously number one, and then it's people. Toxic people in your organization and it could ruin a culture. So for me, it's all about culture and people. We're always hiring way smarter people than me.
You're part of the top 1%. What is it that you do that the 99% of people don't do?
I want it. Like, I never doubted myself ever. I've always wanted it. But one last piece of advice, be giving. Like, don't be just takers, right? Like, business is relationships, right? So when you look at a business, don't think about it as a sale or a fee or a commit or anything like that. That's horrible. Think about how do you maximize the value of your relationships. That is really critical. But be a giver, not a taker, and I can promise you good things will happen.
구강 케어 기업가
Excuse me, sir. Quick question for you, man. Is this your Rolls Royce?
Yes, it is.
And what do you do for a living out in Scottsdale to be able to own a Rolls, man? What do you do for a living?
Oh man, I've been an entrepreneur for more than half my life, but ultimately I'm most known for building one of the most successful companies online called Snow.
That's incredible, man. How long have you been a business owner for?
Since I was 13 years old, that's all I know.
And how much money is that business going to generate you this year?
$200 million.
$200 million. What is your secret to sales?
Our customers are our investors. You treat your customer as best as you can. You build products that work. You choose a market that's got enough size, and you do it over and over again, and you recruit an incredible team, because without a team, you can't do anything, man. I couldn't do it by myself.
Have you ever been broke before?
Yeah, for sure. I grew up with very little. Born and raised here in Arizona, and I used to take the city bus, and I had big dreams even back then. So I know exactly what it's like being broke, and that was one of my motivations, was how do I change my situation? And I would do whatever it took to not be broke anymore, and that's exactly what I did.
For somebody who's stuck in that cycle of poverty, what's one thing actionable that someone can do right now to really get their lives on track?
I would say surround yourself with people doing better than you. Never be the smartest person in the room. Listen more than you talk, and get really good at asking questions and following up, and really just the art of people, man, the art of communication and building relationships. It is the number one skill in business, is communication by far.
How important has it been being able to sell yourself in business beyond just building a product or building a good service for people to buy?
It's the biggest thing, man. If you're not your biggest fan, it's very hard for people to get on the bandwagon of what you're working on. So you've got to have the conviction, think big, think it through, think what's in it for them before you think what's in it for me. And if you do that long enough, you won't have to worry about what's in it for you. It'll be handed to you, man. I think that's super, super important.
나스닥 상장 기업가
Did you end up selling your company?
I took it public in 1993, and I retired in 1995.
What was the name of that business?
Employee Solutions. It was on NASDAQ. We had over 300 employees.
How much money did that business generate in a single year?
We were doing almost $1 billion a year in revenue.
You were doing almost $1 billion.
Billion, yes.
What was the biggest thing that took you to $1 billion company?
Very simple. You get the right people that's going to sell for you. You've got to sell your company. You got to sell yourself. And when we got bigger, we had to go out to New York and meet with the Merrill Lynches and convince them that our company is going to keep growing and they'll push our stock, which they did, and it multiplies. And that's how you do it.
And among yourself and the most highly successful people that you study and know, what is that one trait that they have in common?
Street smart. They know how to handle situations that you don't necessarily find in a book.
When you were starting from zero, what's the best piece of advice that you would tell your younger self?
Whatever you want to do, just keep going at it. Because you could throw 10 things on a wall, I don't care what it is, and 9 of them fall off, and you still got that one up there. You're ahead of the person that never tried.
Wow. Sir, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate that.
Thanks, guys.
You've got incredible advice.
세일즈 리더
What industry did you decide to pursue a career in?
Sales and leadership. Yeah. Well, sales when I was young, and then leadership when I realized, well, maybe I can sell and get paid what I'm worth, but then if I could lead a bunch of people, I could get a little cut on a bunch of people. If you want to get rich, sales and leadership's the way.
What has been the most amount of money that you've ever made in a single year?
I mean, this year right now, guys, look, I'm going to give you a secret. I'm 44 years old, and I'm going to make 9 figures plus this year, and I'm going to the 10. I'm going to go to the $1 billion company. I know I will, but I want to tell you something. I woke up at 39 years old. Now listen, when I was younger like you guys, I self-developed. I went hard, but I'm going to tell you this. I had a lot of distractions along the way. You know what I mean? And here's the secret. Most people are going to self-develop to a certain point to make a certain amount of money, and then they're going to slow down when they hit their dream. So you guys need to keep your dreams really fucking big, because if you don't, once you hit your dream, you stop working. So my shit's so big, I watch people go out and drink. I'll carry club sodas around just watching people, and I'm like, dude, these guys are fools. And I'll watch them, and I dust them, I smoke them, I out self-develop help them. They've slowed down, and that's why I keep growing, and that's why they stay the same.
Have you ever been broke before?
I've been broke a million times. I was broke my whole life, and I'm not afraid to go broke again. I'm afraid to let my family down. I'm the one that sets the example for what's possible in our fucking bloodline, and I'm not letting them down. And I don't mean my family. I mean my wife and my kids. You'll understand this when you get older. And you guys, a lot of you guys have good families, but there's your chosen family and there's your blood family. And sometimes your blood family isn't the one that supports you when you go bigger. They actually hate on you. Now you're gonna have a few of them that'll stick with you, but most of them won't, because they'll think that you're too big, you're too great, when really you went on to do big shit, and they should support you and fucking cheer you on. Instead, they envy you or they get jealous and then they hate on you. And once you do that, I'm out. You're not my family anymore. But anyways, I've been broke and I'm not afraid of being broke. Matter of fact, the most dangerous person in any room is the broke motherfucker, because the broke motherfucker has nothing to lose and everything to gain.
What's been the best financial advice that you've ever received throughout your lifetime?
Well, this will bring a lot of heat from a lot of different places because everyone's different. I like cash. I pay cash for everything. I have nothing financed in my life, from a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, a G-Wagon, our building, our company, it's all cash. What does that mean? I only buy what I can get when I can pay cash for it. So I don't owe anybody any money. And no matter what happened right now, all my shit's paid for. Also, it allows me to function differently. I like to spend my money to be broke. I don't want to go buy that G-Wagon if I can't pay cash for it. Now, look, if I have a $15,000 mortgage payment, I'm giving you an example, and I watch you take $7,000 out in interest, I'm gonna punch someone in the face. I'm wondering who just took my fucking $7,000, right? And by the way, like, taxes are real. You really have to pay them. You can't write off everything. And I know there's all these loopholes, but I'm not trying to fuck with the IRS. So like, I'm just gonna pay cash for everything. You guys go do whatever works for you, but I sleep like a baby at night, knowing my shit's all liquid.
What has been Andy Elliott's secret to sales over the last 20 plus years?
I believe a couple things. Number one, self-belief. I mean, I can tell you this, if I'm talking to you, confidence is fucking everything. You guys walk into rooms and you can tell when people don't believe. You can tell when people really ain't gonna do what they say they're gonna do. So number one, confidence is a big deal, and you'll never out-earn your own self-worth. So if you don't think you're worth it, you're not gonna earn it. Do you know how you can see kind of like what you look like? That's why I talk about fitness, because you can see what you look like. You can see in your mind what you think you look like when you're going through something. Dude, if you don't think you look the best and you feel good about yourself, you're not gonna close that deal. You're not gonna make that thing happen. So one of my secrets is I really believe in me, man. I have a delusional belief in me. Nobody can take that from me. I can walk into any situation in any room. I can close any deal. I can shut down any client. Don't tell me what ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you what the fuck's gonna happen. When I show up, shit goes down. You have to roll that way. You can never let anyone convince you of that otherwise. It can never happen. But listen, sales is a skill. Everything in life is a skill. And I would tell you, if anybody wanted to get rich, anyone, learn sales, learn leadership, and this market will reward you in ways you've never imagined if you got good intentions and you like people.
Fucking phenomenal. That was amazing.
반드시 기억하세요. 1. 관계의 가치를 극대화할 방법을 찾아라. 2. 내 이익보다 사람들의 이익을 먼저 생각해라. 3. 무엇이 하고 싶든 절대 포기하지 말고 끝까지 매진해라. 4. 스스로의 가치를 높게 평가하고 달성하기 위해 노력하라. 5. 선한 목적을 갖고 사람들을 사랑해라.